Tim has talked about, that he would entertain a move to middleweight in the future. How do you think Tim would do it middleweight?
I think he's got to stay at junior. I think he's got to really solidify himself and take over. I think from a standpoint of him being busy, this is fantastic. Borderline amazing to see him be as active as he's been. And on top of that, he's really performed. But at the same time, he's still got some growing to do. And I think, choosing my words carefully, but I will be blunt. He's got to be safe at this point, and it doesn't get safer when you move up. 54 doesn't have the kind of challenges as 60, So before he makes that move, I think he should take over, grow just a little bit more, and of course grow physically as well.
On that episode of the podcast you released yesterday, you talked about that you don't think Charlo's going to go back to 154. I guess where do you think Charlo goes next, if not 154?
I told the No Limit guys, I think a fight ago, that they wouldn't be seeing Jermell Charlo in the ring. They'll never see Jermell Charlo in the ring. I think if Tim were to chase him, he'd have to chase him to 60. As bad as Jermell performed in his last fight, doesn't look like he has any intentions on fighting again. But at the same time, when you fight that bad, you kind of have to come back to erase everybody's memory, So it's really tough to say what Jermell's going to do moving forward. 154 ain't going to be it. I will say that.
Does Tim have cut through in the States? Like, are people actually, they know who he is? Is it a big deal?
They know who he is. I think this is the one.
Yeah.
I think you guys have wanted the last one and the one before that to be the one. I truly do think that this is his third fight this year. And when you're that active, nobody can ignore you being third fight in 1 year, especially when you have been the number one guy, the number one guy, and you haven't had to take on these challenges. So nobody can ignore that. On top of that, Brian's last performance, he's got somewhat of a hot name now too, So I think this is really the one that solidifies Tim as the guy at 154. Seeing Tim grow right in front of my eyes now, two outings, this being the third, and I think he's got some more growing to do. Sometimes you see the growing pains on fight night.
If Charlo's not coming back, how long do you think he should be allowed to keep those belts before they strip?
I thought he was stripped. That's how I feel about it. I feel if you move, especially 2 weight classes out of your weight limit, you haven't fought in over a year in that weight. Why does he have belts? I didn't know he had belts. I don't talk about belts because, as you can see, it's bullshit.
If he doesn't come down, what sort of fights do you think Tim should sort of look at?
I think we because Tim's been in that number one position for so long, we kind of look at Tim now like he's the guy. And it's okay with being the guy, Be the guy for a little while, You taking on 3 challenges. He gets past Brian. And, just keep picking them and keep knocking them down. Get to the top at 154 and stay there as long as you can,
Crawford's talked about a fight with Canelo in the future and wanting that fight sort of next. Do you think that's a realistic possibility for Crawford? And do you think he could actually get the win against Canelo?
If Terrence wants to do it, he will do it. And if Terrence wants to do it, he knows he can do it. I would actually be betting on Terrence Crawford to win that fight.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys got it.